if anything keeps me up at night, there's a couple things, but one is, am I making sure that we are looking into the future? Because we all know if we stay the same, we're not going anywhere, right? We've got to evolve. We've got to keep moving. We've got to look at what's coming.
Welcome to Leadership in Manufacturing Podcast, your go-to resource for mastering leadership excellence in the dynamic world of electronics. I'm your host, Sannah Vinding, and I'm so excited you're here. I'm here to bring you insightful interviews with industry leaders from distribution, the manufacturing sector, and also manufacturing reps. Before we start, I have a small request. If you're enjoying our podcast on platforms like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please hit the follow button. Your support is going to help us to bring in even more amazing guests to share the valuable knowledge. So thank you for listening in. If you want to learn more, check out our website. It's called leadershipinmanufacturing.com. Welcome to Leadership in Manufacturing Podcast, empowering leadership excellence in the electronics industry. I'm your host, Sannah Vinding, and I'm so excited that you're here today. I have a little favor. So if you could hit that subscribe button, maybe from Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it's going to help my channel, and I really will appreciate it. So thank you. Back to the show. I want to introduce today's guest. His name is Slatten. He's the president and CEO at ECS Inc. International. With a wealth of experience in international sales, executive roles overseeing various account partnerships and acquisitions, Eric has showcased a strong commitment to personal and professional development throughout his career. His leadership roles and active involvement in various organizations highlight his dedication to continuous learning and growth in the industry. So welcome to the show, Eric. I'm so excited to have you here today, and I'm looking forward to get your perspective on the industry.
Great. Thank you for having me, Sannah. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's start. I always love the question here, what's your passion about the electronics industry? What's your passion about it?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we all know electronics and technology are neat. At least most of us in the industry believe that anyway, and feel that way. The next new widget that's coming out is always exciting. But I think what really drives me every single day, what I love the most is, or are, the people in the industry, the relationships that we get to build. And that's how it goes in most industries. Is it's people driven. That follows suit. That couldn't be any more correct for our industry. It's people driven. It's about the people. It's how great everybody is, and building those relationships. That's what drives me.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the company. I want to know a little bit more about it. So, it's just so the listener can understand as well, about your background.
Yeah, sure. So we are a frequency control manufacturer. We also do metal power inductors. We think we are the best in the industry.
Of course.
Our customers would say that we are the best in the industry. I'm confident in that. The company was founded in 1980. My father, with a partner, bought it in 1994.
Yeah.
The partner retired in 2012. I started taking on some ownership in 2019. I joined ECS, I guess, more importantly, in 2008.
Yeah.
So that's my history, and that's just a very, very high level of ECS and where we are today.
But what about then the dynamic, right? Because if there's family, right, there's some family organizations. How's the dynamic, and how do you make sure that the communication within the organization is kept up and everybody is on the same page?
Great question. So the dynamic, my father and I, Brad, we're very lucky to have an excellent working relationship. We both respect one another. We know what conversations to have in front of people and what conversations to have behind closed doors. That's a lesson we learned very early.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
I actually had made the mistake of voicing an opinion probably too loud in front of employees and probably made them uncomfortable. So I was quickly corrected, and we've been good since. So early lesson, communication with our employees and even customers. Could we be better at it? Yeah. But we know how important it is. One of our values is collaboration. Collaboration, that means communication. That means sharing. That means having weekly calls with the appropriate management team, with the appropriate salespeople, et cetera. So Brad and I, we do our best to clearly and often communicate with the whole team.
Yeah, no, that's good. Have you then seen a different way of communicating over the last couple of years?
Well, of course, right? COVID. Yeah. That's what's really forced us all to change, and I think we've all adapted. It's not the same as the face-to-face.
No.
Doing the Zoom, the Teams, all that.
Yeah.
We all recognize that, but for the situation we were put in, we adapted quickly. Our conference room is all decked out so that we're able to have, big meetings, and, the communication internally, we're on the phone every day with
Yeah.
our outside team, our inside team. I talk to our outside team as often as possible. I am in the office every day if I'm not with the kids somewhere, or,
Yeah.
goodness, God forbid, we might be on a vacation.
Yeah.
Harder
What
to
is
do
that?
these days, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's where we are.
Yeah, yeah. What about the sales cycle, right? Because I think with engineers and procurement and everything else there, that has changed as well. And what I see as well, if I live on LinkedIn, and of course I get information from other places as well. But it's
Absolutely.
how that long size, design cycle there is, and there's like saying engineers don't want to talk to anybody, right? So have you? What's your advice, or how to get that communication going if you're like going and looking for new customers, or you just want to expand with existing customers?
Sure. So yeah, I think a lot of us like to lean into, yeah, engineers don't want to talk to anybody,
Yeah,
or they only want to talk to you when there's an issue.
yeah,
I feel like what ECS has been successful with is being really a thought leader, putting articles out, showing our expertise, and I think what that does is it gets engineers intrigued,
yeah,
and they understand we're real people and that we can be of service, right?
yeah,
It's not just we have some parts out in distribution and they just buy it. No, there are questions, there are things, we help a lot customers with their design, their actual design. They aren't frequency control is often thought of as kind of black magic.
yeah,
There's a lot to it, and it's, from what we understand, it's not something that's taught to engineers when they're in school. So we get to be their teacher,
yeah,
right? They get to lean into us and ask the questions, and we get to help them with the design. Hey, I've got this micro, and I've got this and this, and not quite sure where I need to be with the frequency control device. Do I need a crystal? Do I need an oscillator? Et
yeah,
cetera, et cetera. Our engineering team, that's where we shine. That is
yeah,
absolutely where we shine with the customer. We help them in their design, and they end up being loyal for a long time. Yes, the design cycle is long. We all know that.
yeah.
Um, but when we get a hold of an engineer, we impress them and they come back.
Nice. Have you created like tag teams? So when you go out or you go out and introduce, right? Do you have the engineer and then you have sales going out together?
Sure. That all depends. Some of our salespeople are engineers, so they
That's
can
a
knock it out of the
win-win.
park on
Yeah,
their own, right?
yeah,
Um, some of our salespeople, like me, not technical at all, so we need that engineering help.
yeah,
Um, we just look at the situation, we look at the territory, we look at the customers that we might be visiting, and
yeah,
does an engineer need to be present there? Does an engineer just need to be available by phone, or can the engineer come in after the fact and work through the details?
yeah.
Um, I wouldn't say that we have an exact process, other than we just understand what customers we're going to talk to when we're in a territory.
Yeah. And it's building that relationship as well, right? I think that
Absolutely,
takes time, and that's where you build the trust. And if you then keep adding value when you're meeting with them or if you're sending them emails, right? Then that's just going to grow as well.
no question, no
Yeah.
question.
Want to talk a little bit about how you're learning? Because again, with this industry, right, there's a lot of things going on. And the pandemic, we had to pivot, we had to be agile, right? It's like you just have to be able to do everything at once.
Right.
So how do you manage your day or your week, and especially with your role and responsibility? And then how do you make sure you keep learning?
I learn from our employees. Because they're the ones that are in front of the customer. They're the ones talking to the customer every single day. I learn from talking to our distribution partners. They get kind of a wider view versus our narrow view and just our frequency control IP&E. I get a more of a global view.
Yeah,
Um, I learn from articles on LinkedIn, like you. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I find it highly valuable. I also am in a business group that takes me out of the business and allows me to look at things from a really high view, and say, hey, what can we do better as a business? How can we help make our people grow, make them better? How can we allow them to get better?
yeah,
How can we communicate better? What can I do to tighten some things up financially? All kinds of things like that. So I get a lot of different inputs. Maybe it's too much, but that's something that I kind of pride myself in, and I enjoy. I like understanding different viewpoints. I like understanding things from the people that are actually talking to the customer on a daily basis, where I don't get that chance very often.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
to get
those are
another
my
angle of it, right? As well. Yeah.
exactly. To
Yeah.
have more of a to call it more of a global view versus again just our narrow
Yeah.
view that sitting at our desk.
Yeah, I like it. So and I think it's important because that makes you actually lifting your head up, right? And looking further out instead of just being in your little, yeah, in your little
Correct.
office or maybe in your little rabbit hole. That's what I will say
Correct.
sometimes.
Correct. Yeah, that honestly, that's what if anything keeps me up at night, there's a couple things, but one is, am I making sure that we are looking into the future? Because we all know if we stay the same,
Yeah.
we're not going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
We've got to evolve. We've got to keep moving. We've got to look at what's coming.
Yeah. So how with this, yeah, you lifting the head, how do you make sure that you actually are fostering or that, I'm sure it's also affecting, the company culture, right? In a positive way. How do you make sure to communicate that throughout the organization?
Good question. I honestly, I'd have to think a little bit deeper about that. The articles that I read, that the people that I speak to, if I pull out the tidbits that would be my takeaways,
Yeah.
and oftentimes I will share that with our management team.
Yeah.
Hey, here's what the industry is telling us is coming. Here's what the industry is telling us we're seeing. Does that align with what we are seeing from our metrics?
Yeah.
Should we be prepared for something? So again, the items that I learn, the large ticket takeaways that I have, I try to communicate that and
Yeah.
have conversations with some of my team.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
And on,
always
on
down to the communication, right? It's that's
yes,
the trigger.
I just read this quote the other day. Culture is something that I probably care about more than anything. It's our customers and then our culture here at ECS. And the quote that I read the other day is culture follows the leader.
Yeah.
That's a big responsibility on myself,
Yeah.
and I own that responsibility, but I take that very, very seriously. Part of it is communicating. I can't keep everything to myself,
No.
and I want my team to share things with me. I need to share back.
Yeah.
So it is that open line of communication, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's culture is just its own beast, right? Or animal, or you want to say.
It
I interview one, I forgot his name right now on that one, but he says it's so organic and you need to keep feeding it.
it
Um
it is. It is.
yeah.
It is a focus of ours.
Yeah.
Are we fantastic at it? No, but it's top of mind all the time. We're always practicing. We're always doing our best to make sure we have a culture.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring to say, "Oh, we're like a family here."
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool to me anyway is that's what our employees' feedback is, especially when, they're doing their annual reviews.
Yeah.
Feels like a family. This is my second family. Now, part
Yeah.
of that's just the amount of time that you have, but everybody here really cares about each other. You can't just create that, right?
No.
So we have that right now, and that's something I don't ever want to let go of.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I heard or I read as well, somebody saying, "Oh, you cannot call it a family, right? It is a business of you have to let somebody go, right? It's, you don't do that in a family." But I think how I
True.
see it, yeah, but how I see it, the word family is because you have your own family and then you have your day job. Um, and you spend so much time. So because you spend so much time, I think that's why a lot of people reflecting and saying it is my second family, right?
Right.
Not a bad word about it, but you need to be comfortable with this, if you call it that second family, right? And you need to have the
Right.
trust, the communication. So I don't think it's a bad word to use. Even I've seen it out there. They're saying you should not call it. I think it's a
Yes.
good way if you
You
if
you and
you're
I may have
hearing it,
read the
right?
same article.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right? Yeah, 'cause we're, like, on the same algorithm here. No, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think if you're getting that feedback for your employees, it's a good sign, right? That they
I
are
think so, yeah.
yeah, okay. Um, what else I wanna talk about distribution because there's a lot of, not naming names, what's going on, but there's been a lot of, rocky, I think, environment, in the distribution. That's what I'm hearing and seeing. So,
Mhm.
what are you hearing and seeing within the distribution channels? What's happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we're all still looking for all of our inventories to start washing out. I do
Yeah.
think we're starting to see it a little bit. The mess that we're talking about. Look, the distributors were doing what they thought was right. They were stocking up when nobody could get parts, and then it just comes in droves. And now they've got so much
Yeah.
inventory across the board, not just ECS product, but
Yeah.
everybody.
All over. Yeah.
They're going, whoa, whoa, whoa! We gotta get rid of this. We gotta sell it. We gotta back it down. Everybody's looking at their books, going, whoa. You
Yeah.
um, that's the mess that we're going through. To me, it's ebbs and flows of our business cycles, right? Are those conversations we have with our channel partners almost daily? Certainly are.
Yeah.
But due to our relationships with our partners, I think we continue to come to good ideas on how to manage through it. That's where the distribution is today, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are kind of looking at themselves and what can we do differently? How can we do things differently? How can we do things better?
Yeah.
That's great. I think we all need that. But the situation where, what was it, 21, 22, where you couldn't confirm your orders fast enough,
Yeah.
to now we're all, oh, where are the orders? How do we get more of them?
Yeah.
Again, the ups and downs of business cycle, but it allows us to look at how we've done things, and how we can do things going forward.
Yeah. No, it's right, right? It's funny how it has changed to like give me more insights on these orders, right? What's happening.
Right.
What about I want to go back to the company culture a little bit. So how do you, because if you're saying you're walking the talk, right? But if you're not in the office, or if you're not there, if you are on that vacation, that you maybe that you should have, because we all need that.
Hopefully have.
Yeah, no, you should have it, right? But
Yeah.
how do you make sure that the continuous of that company actually, or the company culture, is still there? Is it a mindset? Is it hiring the right people? Is it having that pizza lunch? What are you how do you feed it?
People, the people. I think that, and this is from my point of view, everybody would have to talk to our employees, but I feel like Brad, who is our chairman, my father, and I, we treat everybody with respect. They can see that we genuinely care, and I think that's reciprocated.
Yeah.
Um, I believe that Brad and I do everything in our power to do the right thing, and I believe that culture is lived here at ECS. If I was gone from work for a month, we wouldn't miss a beat. And that's due to the people that we have. I mean
Yeah.
that from the bottom of my heart. We care. Everybody here cares.
Yeah.
And I don't think that can necessarily be taught. I think that's just part of your culture, and a lot of that is the people that we hire.
Yeah.
I believe that we hire correctly. Kudos to us. And
Yeah.
it's not just Brad and Eric that make these decisions. We have the team decide on who else we want to bring in. Do they fit the culture? Will they fit in the family that we're not supposed to call it a family?
Family. Yeah.
Um,
That's the name of the
um,
show. No.
yeah, yeah, there you go. Uh,
No.
but that's
Yeah.
it's our culture.
It's
People
the
care.
culture.
People know what they're
Yeah.
supposed to do. They know to collaborate and take care of one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
Again, I could be gone for a month and we wouldn't
No.
miss a
That's
beat.
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure your
it's very
customers
comforting
can
too.
feel that as well, right? Yeah. To have.
There's no question in my mind that our
Yeah.
customers can feel the passion that we have.
Yeah. So in this industry, right, we need new talent. We've seen it. I think I've been to places and then they have like lost and found, and you get an email saying, oh, we found 2 reading glasses, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again. No. Uh, so I want to hear, if there's anybody new to the industry, what kind of advice do you want to give to this person?
Great question. The advice that I would give to somebody new in the industry is be a sponge. Get on LinkedIn and find any one of our industry trade rags, dig into that, meet as many people as you can, especially we'll call them the most experienced ones. Understand where they've been, how things have gone. Talk to other young people in the industry. Just be a sponge. Ask questions.
Yeah.
That would be my number one piece of advice. And I say that because I guess that's how I learned. I talk to people at ECS. I learn. I still learn.
Yeah.
But day one, ask questions. Read as much as you can on the industry, learn as much as you can about your company. I think that starts to springboard into other things.
No, yeah, it's the whole keep asking questions, right? Because the
Yes.
world is evolving, and what you got the answer maybe you got a year ago has changed, right? If you ask again,
Oh,
or
I
talk
would
to
say
customers, right?
I would say absolutely. Even a year ago, things are different today.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. Keep your eyes and ears open. Be a sponge. Be part of the change, I guess. As things evolve, younger people,
yeah,
um, they have a different viewpoint. I think we all know that they have a different viewpoint. And while it may sound crazy to some of us, if you listen really closely or really get a clear understanding of what they're saying, they're pretty smart,
yeah,
right? Um, so the older people can also learn from the younger people. I know the question was, what can they do? But
yeah,
those conversations close gaps. Those
yeah.
conversations create learning, and hopefully make our industry better. Yeah, getting younger people in the industry is a challenge. I think once they're in the industry, they don't leave.
No, you get sucked in. You never get out of it. No.
Right. But that's great. It's a great
Yeah,
industry.
it
It's
is.
really,
It
really
is.
fun. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, I'm in it. So I want to talk because again with generations, right? We all have different ways, right? Is it the email? Is it the messenger? Is it the Teams, right? Is it Zoom call? Is it a team? There's so many ways we communicate. How do
Mhm.
you navigate it?
Unfortunately, I'm probably more of an email person and a
Yeah.
messaging person,
Yeah.
a text person. Will I get on the phone? Yes. But for me, and that's everybody's different, it takes a little bit more energy for me to say, okay, I'm going to pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
Uh, not great, not bad, just that's who I am. So my method is yes, email, messaging, text message. That's simplest for me. I think I write better than I speak. That's my preferred method. Yeah,
Yeah.
teams call all the time. We have a weekly management meeting and a weekly sales meeting, and
Yeah.
we all are on the teams call. We all see each other's face. Those that's important. The meetings.
Yeah.
And having a video is ideal. But
Yeah. So
uh,
there's a lot, right? I have friends that will be on the WhatsApp platform, and then I have another that's just on Snapchat or just maybe called Snap, right? So it's like I have to navigate when I'm talking to and this is just my friends, right? To say, oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
talk to this person. Now I want to talk to that person. Now I need to take a
yeah,
picture, right? And
yeah. No, that I mean, great
yeah,
point. On the personal side, yeah. Well, I would say business colleagues, especially overseas, it's WeChat.
yeah,
That's fine. So I've got WeChat. We'll do
yeah,
that. Um, you're right. There are other platforms to message and communicate
yeah,
through, and I'm not going to say no to any of them, but I know the ones that I'm typically going to lean into.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's and you need to be able to learn as well, right? And figure out where are your customers, um,
Right.
and make sure that you actually keep communicating.
Mhm.
What about I want to again with phone calls, right? Because I don't answer if I getting a call and I'm not expecting it. I'm not answering, right? I had one the other day where we already said we were going to chat, and then the person texted me saying, "Is it still a good time?" Texting me, and then I was like, "Yes," right? And then this
Yeah.
person called me. It's like a lot
Yes.
of steps, right? Back in
Yeah.
the days, you just dialed the number, right? And
Oh,
was
yeah.
hoping somebody was there.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so how again how do we what do you see in emails, right? Because again, a couple of years ago, maybe I don't yeah, somebody said, "Oh, emails is dying," right? This is not the way to go. I still see it as a strong media. It's a strong way to communicate, but again, there's a lot of noise, so you have to make sure that you are navigating that noise so you get through to the customer.
Correct.
But I think phone call is getting it's not the first it's not a cold call anymore. It's something later on.
Right.
But I want to hear your opinion on it.
I would agree. I'm like you. If there's a call that comes in and I don't know who it is and I'm
Yeah.
not expecting it, I'm not picking it up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a distraction. You don't know if it's spam or you don't know if it's a
Yeah.
real call.
Yeah.
If it's important enough, my opinion, to leave a voicemail and I get to choose when I call them back.
Yeah.
Um, Usually, if it's an important one, I'll call right back. But
Yeah.
I would agree. Phone calls are very important, but I think they do need to be scheduled. All of
Yeah.
us work differently. That's the way I prefer
Yeah.
is a scheduled
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. Yeah. It just changed, right? And then even do you leave a voicemail? I don't anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh, they see the caller ID. They should know who it is, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then still, if I'm calling somebody, I'm still saying my name, and I'm like, "Why do I do that? Because I know I'm in the phone.
Right.
My name is
Right.
there, right?"
Yes.
But
Yes.
maybe that's just how I grew up, that I need to say my name. But, no.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, let's get I want the big advice here. So if you look maybe you have to look like 10 years back, what kind of advice do you wanna give yourself if you had to go back in time?
Have more confidence in in yourself. For me, again, speaking to myself, have more confidence. You're we're all still learning. As long as you aren't arrogant about anything, if you walk in with the confidence and the knowledge that you have, you have, be confident in that.
Yeah,
Don't be so concerned about, oh, I'm talking to this title or that title, and we're all people. We're all people. Don't take it so seriously. One thing that I talk about here at ECS is, some people will get upset or concerned that they're going to make a wrong decision.
yeah,
Now, you aren't ever going to make a decision so terrible that it's going to ruin the company. We all make bad
yeah,
decisions or we
yeah,
all make mistakes.
yeah,
We learn from them. That's it. And back to what I was saying, when I would be in front of a customer, somebody had a big title. Well, as I've gotten older from 10 years ago, I now understand they're just people,
yeah,
right? There's no one person that's so special. You can't have a conversation and talk to them, introduce them to your product, introduce them to yourself,
yeah,
and have more confidence. Have
yeah,
more confidence in your abilities. Would
yeah.
be my suggestion to myself 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
Mm.
And I want to add to listen as well. That is that's also important.
That
But yeah,
don't just listen to listen, listen to learn,
yeah, listen.
listen to understand.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got another title for this podcast episode.
There you go.
You're like, I'll call you next time. What should I call it? Okay, I have one more question actually. I want to ask you. So, um, because skill set, right? If you want to grow and you're like one that you're like never stopping learning. That's how I see you right now that we talk and we chat here. So what kind of skill do you have that's saying, oh, I really want to be better, or I want to learn more and have this skill into my umbrella or my backpack or whatever you want to call it?
You're gonna make me be vulnerable here.
I am.
You're gonna make me show my cards.
No.
Um, yeah, no, probably the financial side of things. I would say that's not my strongest point.
Yeah.
Um, that's one place that I think I could learn a lot more and get a lot more confident in. Back to what we were just talking about. Oh, be more confident. That's one that I'm like, I can manage through some financials, but I'm not strong at financials.
Yeah.
Um, that and I'm sure there's a couple handfuls of things that I could be better at,
Yeah.
uh, and
No,
that I'd like to
and
improve on.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm just curious because again, I think it's like even though you're not maybe if you're not great, right? You can raise the bar a little bit, and that's what you just
Right.
said, right? You want to raise that bar within the finance. So,
Abs-
how to just how to improve. And I think if you have the mindset already to say to yourself, or saying, "Hey, I'm not just ending on this plateau. I want to improve." I think that's
Right.
already right. That's also like a skill set to yourself to say, "Hey, with that mindset, I keep growing."
Absolutely. And I guess let me add one more. Again, I'm opening up.
Yeah,
Um, the engineering side of things, like I said early on, I'm not a highly technical person when it comes to designing. I can talk to our product a little bit. Again, I've got to bring engineers in. I could be better at that. It would be setting aside time to go and actually take some courses on that, and I've not done that, and that is something that I do desire to do.
yeah. Good for you, right? It's like
Yeah,
keep growing in that area. I love
right.
it. So, if any of the listener wants to reach out to you, how can they connect with you?
Absolutely. I think the best way to reach me is LinkedIn. I would say I'm highly active on LinkedIn. I find a lot of value in LinkedIn. So you find me on there. It's Eric Slatten. Pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
I think most know how to search on LinkedIn and find people. So I'm there and I accept pretty much all requests. So contact me there. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so Eric, I'll make sure to put that in the show notes and also on the episode page, which you can find on leadershipinmanufacturing.com. So Eric, I really like this one. I know, and maybe not everybody can in the end here, but a lot of distraction on my side because my dogs were running around. But that's the human
Real
side.
life.
That's my
It's
family.
real
No,
life. Yes.
it's real life.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
I'll edit it out. No. But thank you so much. And I think I love when I talk to people with passion, and I love also to have conversation where I can just see the passion about the company culture, and let's just sometimes call it family because I still like that word. But to see
It
how,
still works for me. Yeah.
yeah, right. No, I got the approval from you. No, but just to see how deep it is in your, that company culture, how deep and how important it is for your organization. I'm almost getting goosebumps of it because it's so important. So I'm so happy to hear that you actually have that focus. So yeah,
thank you.
you.
Yeah, highly important. Thank you for having me, Sannah. I appreciate it. This was fun. I'm happy to do it again.
Awesome. If you like Leadership in Manufacturing podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the show wherever you get the podcast. Our podcast is for industry decision makers like yourself, providing a personalized experience to elevate your leadership journey. So be sure to tune in. You'll have access to a wealth of practical advice and innovative strategies, boosting and refining your leadership style. So check it out. It's on leadershipinmanufacturing.com. Remember, stay curious, keep learning. See you next time.